Welcome, one
Hi.
and all. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the class. Welcome to everything. How y'all feeling?
Doing great. Doing good. Best day of the week.
I'm trying to get my podcast voice together. Like,
I love it.
I'm trying to get
Okay.
I'm working on something. I feel something in my spirit that I feel like I need to go into a more monotone kind of real low ASMR kind of way of speaking to gain a better audience. How y'all feel? Well, let me add a little more. Yes, I have my drink with my nice cubes in. Yes, nice oaky aroma.
Yes.
Coffee. I need tea or coffee.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, family. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. It is truly the best day of the week.
There's no other place I'd rather be. Welcome, one and all to Dating University, where we discuss the good,
the bad,
and the ugly
of all things dating and relationships.
Absolutely. I am your co-host, Professor Charles, along with my wonderful co-host,
Professor Brittany.
Yes, indeed,
right here.
Brittany, along with our returning guest,
Hey,
Miss
Winnie
O.
A favorite of mine.
Fresh off the plane, fresh off of jet fuel abusing. You know,
looking great.
Out here,
Thank you.
Yes. The hair popping, the cheekbones, it's popping. Everything is great. Tell us where you came from.
Oh, I was in Ghana, and not gonna lie, Ghana at this point has my heart. Kenya, you got competition. Ghana
Listen,
got my
I'm
heart.
about to give me a dual citizenship to Ghana, man. I'm ready to move.
We're going to Ghana. Cheers to Ghana.
I'm ready to move to Wakanda.
I'm serious. Honestly, please do. Ghana is absolutely on the up and up, and it's really doing a great job of advocating for the return of the diaspora folks, especially if you maybe don't have if you're not tied to a specific African country. They're strategically and very intentionally welcoming folks back home. So if you're interested, if you're thinking about moving back to the continent or finding out about the continent, please do go check it out.
I gotta put my feet.
Yes.
On the ground of where I came from. You feel me?
Funny enough, okay, quick plug. No one has paid me. No one in the Ghanaian government has paid me to do this. This is not a promotion. But Charles, you're right. Because I noticed that whenever I leave the US, whenever I travel back home, there's something to the feeling you get when you leave the US airspace, and then an even deeper feeling of this weightlessness when you are landing into the continent. I don't know how to explain it, but everybody who I've spoken to, they always talk about they may not feel it leaving the airspace, but definitely when they're you have entered, welcome to Ghana, it really feels like going back home, because one of the things I've kind of been going on in my mind, it was this idea, the difference between healing and treatment, right? We often hear a lot of people leave the continent, the motherland. People go abroad for treatment, but far more often, folks return home for healing. That's just being there. You don't have to do anything. Just going home. There's something to going to a place that's called home. Yeah. That it does something for your spirit. So that's my quick plug.
I love it. Man, I can't wait, man. I don't know. Maybe 2024 is the year to take my butt down to Africa, man. And really just,
you're very welcome.
My feet down in the soil where my ancestors walked. Absorb the energy, absorb the real sun, and because everybody I've talked to who has gone to Africa or gone back has come back with a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different. They want to portray Africa as this, destitute country. I mean, group of countries, continent. And nothing could be farther from the truth. Like don't get me wrong, there's some poverty there, but hell, look at here. Like there's poverty in New York City, there's poverty in Los Angeles, California, there's poverty in Chicago, Illinois. You know what I'm saying? It's everywhere. Yeah. But man, I mean, especially seeing like the pictures of what Ghana is doing, man. I mean, it looks amazing. I mean, there are like real live, like Wakanda-esque cities, and I'm like,
yes, across the African continent. Because actually, no, I did a brief Africa tour. That went
really
the latter half of this year. I did Kenya, I did Ghana, of course. Kenya, Ghana, Kigali, Rwanda, Ethiopia, somewhere else, Egypt. And Morocco.
Yeah.
Wow,
Morocco is where it's at.
We may need to have
a
separate show. When we talk about dating abroad and also.
Listen, we'll travel for love.
We would love to have that show.
We'll travel for love, absolutely.
Let me tell you, and honestly, I would say traveling this past year for healing and mental health and wellness has by far been such. I honestly feel like it was more of a big aha moment. It was like especially like dating internationally. I think because we talked about this before. The dating culture, when you date in a culture where marriage is considered a part of the norm, like and stable family and commitment, like where men have no problem talking marriage on their first date and they're not shocked when you're like, yeah. They're like, what do you want this year? I'm like, I want to get married. And like, okay, cool. Tell me, like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. But if they had that conversation here, I feel like women wouldn't receive it the same way. Like, whoa, you're moving really quickly. Yeah. And I mean, that's for men and women. If you even
absolutely.
The M word during your first date, it's like
that's
stage 5 clinger, stranger danger.
Waving.
Not even close to marriage. So that's very interesting that you say that marriage is normal there. So even talking about it is something that is just accepted.
It's in the culture. And I also like realize it, like even I was like, but also I'm gonna balance it out. When I'm in dating in different countries, right? So because you get the flavor of the country, right? Like I would say, I know I'm Kenyan, so I can say this. I am calling out my Kenyans. Kenya, there's this thing called the Ministry of Character Development. We ever so kindly call it the Ministry of Character Development, and it's pretty much the F-boy nature of the dating scene. Right, where it's like, girl, you come to especially Nairobi, your character will be developed. Okay, you will get character development A7. Okay, so you need to come with that understanding, come correct. So if that ain't for you, bow out, call it a day. Whereas I realized in Ghana, even though like I'm sure there's there's chopping happening, but more often than not, at least in the spaces that I was like interacting and networking, it's like I would say, oh my God, because it's the truth. It's the truth. The men that I met in Ghana, like there was this, they just had this reverence for the feminine. There was just a genuine because it's you could tell it's like, okay, they're raised well. They have just like it's like they see women as literally God's gift, right? At least unless if it's just me, that I'm God's gift and I just carry myself as such, and that's how they treat me, and they're responding to that. But like just in general, and it's not even like the men who are trying to sleep with you, right? Because I don't out here peddling. I was like, it's people who are like, they're genuinely nice. Like folks, just in general, folks are really genuinely nice to you. Like every Uber I got into, they're like, hey, Miss Winnie, where's your husband?
Wow.
I'm like, they're like, there's no husband. Like, what? They're like, stay here a month, you'll be married.
Wow. Did you find any love prospects while you were abroad for this month?
Really? You gonna put it out there like that?
Yeah. Dating University.
Brittany,
it's dating. You should know. Winnie, when you come on this show, I'm going to ask.
Let's just say
my client is taking the fifth. Thank you.
You know,
you can take a fifth. In case people are watching.
Exactly.
In case people are watching, I'm like, listen, I'm ready for the real deal. You better come correct either way.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to our international professor of Dayton University, Miss Winnie. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Darius. It is the credit class. Yes, listen, tonight. What are we talking about tonight, Britt?
Tonight we are diving into the first of a 5-part series on the Best Man TV episodes. We are looking at the different relationships in the final chapter, and this evening we are discussing Harper and Robin. These two, very complex couple. I thoroughly enjoyed reading all of the think pieces about who thought who was wrong, who was the villain. I mean, I've seen, some say that Harper's the villain. I've seen some say where Robin is the villain. Then I've seen some where they say both are the villain. And then I've seen some where people have just said they just weren't compatible from the start.
True.
There are various angles that we can look at. So tonight we are going to discuss what we think, and we hope that you daters out there can drop in the comments what you think about the dynamic. So let's dive into it. We're going to look at Harper, and then we'll look at Robin, and then we'll look at them both collectively.
That sounds fair to me.
Yes. So let's talk about Harper.
All right.
What are y'all's views on Harper?
For me, Harper is a singular focused individual.
Ooh.
He is hell-bent on being the best at what he does. He wants to be taken seriously. He wants to make his mark on the world. And it seems like everything else is secondary to his world. Now, he is a somewhat great friend. He's somewhat of a great husband, somewhat of a good father. But he has his flaws like everybody else on God's earth. I feel like his focus was never really on his marriage to Robin. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, well, he was more focused on Jordan, because he really wasn't even focused on Jordan either. He was focused on his career. He was more focused on being the provider for his family. And a lot of men, we get caught up in that, of being the provider for the family. Like, we work, you know what I'm saying? Once we take on that responsibility of being a husband, being a father, like, those kind of things kind of put us in a tunnel vision, if you will. And it's just like, how do I get my family to the next level? How do I do this? How do I do? And we saw this play out in his character in the last chapters. Yes, the book became, a screenplay. Like, all right, cool, let's go. We on a rock and roll. But then it was stalled. So in the meantime, what did he do? He kept on pushing. He kept making these little books to kind of to keep the stuff going in the household. He wanted to do that. Amen. Ooh, that's a tough. Well, we're gonna get into that one, guys. Hey, that was tough. Whew. All right. So even when he wanted them to move from Harlem up to the Upper East Side, That's the man's version of like, I'm making a way for my family.
Yeah.
I gotta do this. Like, my wife, she's in this space of she can kind of do what she wants. And I allowed that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I let her be in that space of like, oh, she can pick up this project, she can pick up this project, she can pick up this project, put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. And I can see how he really didn't take her seriously on some of the things that she wanted to do. So, do I look at Harper as a complete villain? No, but he did some very bad things. He emotionally cheated on his wife. He physically cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't ever think he really loved Robin, because we go back to the very first movie when he was getting dressed and Robin had said to him, I love you. And at that very same moment, Jordan walked in and saw him half naked. He didn't want to even say it to her because he was fostering that.
Yeah. But I think, you know, it goes back to...
When did he physically cheat? How many times did he kiss Robin?
He kissed Robin. No, he kissed Jordan in...
I mean, Jordan, that's what I mean. How many times did he kiss Jordan?
In the first movie, and he kissed Jordan in the final chapter series.
Yeah, that's true.
Several times.
Yeah.
Harper is just... He's narrow. He's narrow-minded with the tunnel vision with him at the end of it. At the heart of it all, he is for his own agenda. Yeah. And he is the agenda. And unfortunately, that makes him a bad friend. That makes him a bad spouse. But I will give him credit. Harper is a great father. There are, ladies, gentlemen, let's be honest with ourselves. We know people that can be horrible spouses. But when it comes to children, it's like they become this martyr. They become this like holy saint. And they're the best. And for the love of me, I don't understand. Granted, children are innocent. They don't deserve, bad treatment. But I don't think anybody is deserving of bad treatment if they are legitimately a good person. But, that was my only gripe with him. Like, oh, you're such a good dad. Why can't you take those same principles of like being kind and considerate and compassionate and pour that into your friendships, pour that into your marriage. Granted, he moved to a better neighborhood, but that was more so for the safety of his daughter. And Robin just so happened to be connected to the child. When Robin was doing her protesting, he wasn't like, are you crazy? Like, you could have got hurt. He was more concerned about his child. Like, you put our child in danger. You can do what you want, but our child needs to be safe.
I don't see the problem with that. Yes, I want my wife to be safe, and I know my wife is going to be safe, but the fact that she was out there and she had Mia with her, there are ways to foster the protest spirit to a child. There are ways to help a child understand that the world isn't fair and how to go about, affecting change without actually putting your child in danger, because anything could have happened. Mia could have got shot by a rubber bullet. She could have got hit by a tear gas can.
Absolutely.
Anything could have happened. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. But when you're the head of household, you can't be selective in who you are head of household for. So if we're going to advocate for the safety of his child, he also, with Robin being a part of his household, he has to also advocate for her safety as well. And, the energy in making sure that Mia was safe was there, but the same energy wasn't demonstrated for her. It's like, okay, you're okay, but our daughter, instead of, I'm glad that you both are okay. I didn't see that care and concern for her. So, you know.
How you feel, Winnie?
Yeah.
And she, I mean, let's reiterate, like, she did make sure that the child was safe. The child, there must have been a protocol in place, because, like, as one who does community organizing and event planning and protesting, where we have had to account for young folks, literally like toddlers showing up, right? We have to account for their safety, number one, right? And we always make sure, like, we tell people, like, what is your protocol, but also what we make sure that there's a protocol in place that prioritizes the safety, especially of the young folks who end up showing up. So I'm glad that she was like, and she even told him, she's like, hold up, like, the kid was, you know, taken out of danger immediately. So as an organizer, that's one of the things I'm like, people don't realize, like, we actually, good organizers, paramount for us is the safety of everyone who shows up there. Because oftentimes the people, like, if you realize, she even said, she's like, hey, we were not doing anything. It is the enforcement that instigated the thing. So, like, you can only do so much to protect while still allowing your child to understand the realities of what exists in society. Because we sit there and we try to protect folks, and then, you know, like, I never want anybody to find themselves in such a situation. I absolutely don't. But I agree with you here, Brittany, where I didn't hear the same concern for her. Like, there's a way to say, I understand and I respect your autonomy. Right. However, this is how it affects me. This is how I did not see that same concern for her. I absolutely saw the concern for the child, and understandably so, but I didn't see it for her. And but it goes back to, he was his own priority. At the end of the day, it's about him. It's everything has to be relatable. How does this impact me? It goes back to that self-perspective. And to me, I'm like, hold up, he settled for who was there when he happened to be ready. Because we hear it all the time. Right? We hear, like, because listen, been there, done that. We hear it. We hear it because I've seen it on the internet. So, like, girl, like he gonna leave you, and 6 months later he's married. Like, yeah, because we hear it. Folks say, oh yeah, because that's who was available when that person was at a place. She just happened to have good timing and good location.
Exactly. She fit what he needed at the moment, and he stayed in it because it still fit. Because yes, he wanted Jordan, but every time they got close, something stupid happened.
Yes,
there you go.
Yeah, and he knows it.
And he knows that, then he knew that he needed something to keep his mind occupied.
Wow.
Yes,
he needed that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what you were talking about earlier, Brittany. Like, how some people say, like, they weren't even meant to be together in the first place, because they really weren't. They weren't really compatible. It was just, you know, oh, you're single, I'm single too. Okay, let's kind of see where this goes. And then you kick the can down the road 10 plus years, and then you're in a whole relationship for what? And you're not even happy. Yeah. You're not even compatible. Yeah. You're on two different pages.
Yeah, two kind of. It's good. Oh, thank you. Again, the nerd in me is coming out. Okay, what? When we, because I was like seeing angles, right? Two things. We want to hold both parties accountable, because it's not just.
Oh, we are. Him, we definitely are. Yeah. We are going to hold both parties accountable. It's
not just about him settling for the one who was most proximal at a particular time, but it's also for her.
She did the same thing.
Yes, she knew, and she like denied that internal guidance of like, girl, this man, and she kept on ignoring it, and she kept on like brushing it under the rug, as they say. And she's like, oh, like we kind of see what she's like, I have constantly put myself out of the way for you, for your needs, for myself. Wow. Like, sis, he never asked you.
Right.
He never
Never
asked you to.
asked you to do.
So you're
any
sitting
of
here
it.
holding him accountable and responsible for your feelings that you never expressed.
Yeah. I mean,
Alright, so let's go.
the overall development of their relationship, from the first movie through the second, through the series, is if we look at the movie part 1,
Mm-hmm.
from the jump, he was not in a position where he wanted to get married, and she was. He goes ahead of her to the wedding festivities. He runs into Jordan. Sparks fly between them, right? When they're supposed to finally connect physically, because, in college it didn't work out. So now the time has come. This is when the whole book saga comes to fruition, comes to light, and he gets beat up. So Harper then goes to see Jordan. He needed somebody that he could confide in and get consolation. Jordan did not give that. She kicked him while he was down. That is not the woman that he needed. Here comes Robin, understanding and knowing what happened, and she comes and immediately goes into superwoman mode, putting out fires that he started. That's when I feel like he saw that he needed her. He said, I may want Jordan based off of the history that we had, but I need a woman that when I'm beside myself and I am not my best self, that she will step in and help to fulfill me to the point where I can be who I need to be. And I just saw in that first movie, she saved the day. She saved their own relationship. She saved the wedding. She literally saved the movie at the end. And this is someone that she just stepped in, and she was the stranger to everyone. And so for Jordan to see that, you can't help but be like, you know what? You got that, sis, because I am not you. And clearly I am not what Harper wants or needs right now. And she was very mature. I think what people fail to realize is that Robin knew what was going on.
She sure did.
Easily went off.
Mm-hmm.
She could have easily went off, but the composure that she had, especially, y'all, imagine somebody who wants your man is giggling in your face, talking about wanting to meet you. I'm like, girl, are you okay? Like, don't come here with no fake
stayed. But she stayed.
But she stayed.
True.
But
she stayed.
You know,
Robin is not a dummy by a long shot.
She's not.
She's not easily manipulated.
Yes.
And she definitely doesn't make a move without knowing the consequences and repercussions of said move.
Right.
Yeah.
So she stayed. She stayed.
Love is powerful. Like, how many
times? That part.
Love is definitely powerful. Love is definitely powerful.
When we shouldn't have, or we didn't want to. Love will make you do things and forgive things that are so unforgivable on the outside. Like, I mean, how could you dare take him back?
We've been there.
You took the point right out of my mouth.
Yeah, but if you see,
that's where I was going to go. Like,
yeah, if you see like how she loves him, like it just radiates off the screen. When you see the way she looks at him, the way she talks to him.
For a while.
I mean, in the first movie, yeah.
Because she did that for a while, but then it became resentment. It became acrimony.
Yes.
It became pettiness and tit for tat.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And she had plenty of time to have walked away. So let's just go into now. I think this is a good time to go into Robin's character and how we feel about her character.
I think Robin has always been um, kind, compassionate, and I think she's always been someone that is for the people. If you look in the series, Harper and Robin have grown apart. Harper's trying to move to a gentrified area where Robin wants to stay in the more cultural scene to, get back to her roots, give back to her roots, buy black, be super supportive, even her connections to Africa. I think she wanted to be more grounded in her culture, where Harper wanted to kind of separate and assimilate into more mainstream. And I don't see it more so as resentment. They were just growing apart. And, inherently when you grow apart, it's like you're on your path, I'm on mine. And if our paths don't meet, you just got to keep it going. And I feel like they both were on their own path during the series. But what connected them was that you have Mia. And so she was kind of in the middle, kind of keeping the family together, when without her, the unit would have been apart a long time ago. I love that aspect of Robin, though. I love that.
Hold on. How are you going to say he's such a great dad?
He is a great dad.
But then without her, the family unit would have been broken. It was because of her the family unit was broken.
The daughter?
No. Robin. She left.
Pursuing her dream. She was on a different path.
Girl, please. This chick had a dream every other year.
Not follow her dream, and Harper.
She had a dream every other year. This is exactly why Harper did not take her seriously.
But if you see, she stuck to it though. She went to Africa and she was thriving. So for once, she finally stuck to something. I don't think you can. But that's the problem. You can't hold somebody back.
So for 10 plus years, Harper had to deal with all of the different things that she wanted to do, and he supported her. He supported her wholeheartedly.
I agree.
She got a right to find her purpose. But yes, he did not take her seriously on this last one. Why? Because history proved otherwise.
But everybody deserves chances.
Hold on. He still supported her in every single thing. She decided she wanted to go back to the motherland and take their daughter and let that be known in the arbitration scene. That right there, that's a full villain. That's a full villain.
Yeah, now that part I can agree with. I can agree with.
Then she had the whole little thing with Jaya, or with Jawa, whatever the hell your name was. She flirted with yo. She letting yo in the house without Harper being there. Harper had a planned, well in advance screening and premiere of the movie, and she decided, you know what? I'll come to the red carpet. I'll come to the screening, but the after party I won't be there because I got a thing that I wanted to do, and on that same night, I couldn't move.
Yeah.
That's a good compromise.
Yeah, she got to do both.
But even Harper said that's fine. I feel like if Harper
he did that because he didn't want to rock the boat anymore. This was after the marriage counseling scene. Let's go back a little further before, because she had all this animosity, all this beef, all this hurt, all this pain, all this stuff, and never told him anything.
Yeah,
never told him anything of how she felt. She wanted to play the old dutiful wife.
Yes.
And not rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
That part makes her, I don't want to say makes her the villain, but it doesn't make her likable.
But I feel like when you finally tap into your purpose, there is no one, there is nothing that can hold you back. And for somebody that's had repeated failures in doing so, now that she's finally found something that she's passionate about, and she has the backing and the support, and this is something she's finally sticking to, I appreciate her going full gusto. And I mean, Harper did support
it. Be on her side for what? For what?
So if I was a man and was on her side, would it be a problem?
No, but I'm just saying.
Are you saying because I'm a woman, I'm taking her side automatically?
Sense. Like,
but I'm not saying anyone's more right here. I'm just saying they both have their vices and they both have their positives.
True. I agree that to me, they're right. I don't think the blame necessarily settles on either party.
Yeah,
it's on both of them.
Right. Yeah, because like Harper could have like, yo, fam, you know what? This ain't really working. Like, but it's like they started at the same point, right? And it was like, oh, it's only a degree difference, or it's only 2 degrees difference. 2 degrees when you're closest to like the connection point is much smaller than like 5-10 years down the road.
Yeah.
That arc of separation.
I agree.
It shows up.
Yeah.
I agree. There was a like you said, Brittany, that they were definitely on different paths. But with that being on different paths, there has to be some communication. And she wasn't really communicative. Harper was communicative about what he wanted to do. He wanted to not, it wasn't even about being away from the culture. It wasn't about being away from the people. It was just like, look, I want to provide. What was all he kept saying? What did he kept saying? Better schools for Mia.
Yes.
I want to put my family in the best position possible. She wanted to go to Africa for 3 months and blah blah blah. And I'm like, bro, you know what I'm doing here. What are you talking about? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think Didi's comment speaks to something. You have to remember she had to fix a lot and be selfless throughout Harper's foolishness, which caused her to bottle up so many emotions.
Correct.
I do agree with that.
And while we're on that point, I'm gonna say something.
About everything about what? Okay, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can we also, for a moment, recognize the fact that it's gonna sound bad, but if there's one thing I did like about Harper, he had been consistent. His character had been consistent from the very beginning. Like especially when you said like, oh, he had been communicating. I was like, it wasn't just in his words; it has been his actions from day one.
Yeah, he's always been Harper's always been Harper.
You know,
I will give him that. He is very.
And it's like you cannot expect the leopard to change its stripes when you know the leopard.
Everybody knew exactly who he was, and they still set around him.
That part.
That one scene where they all kind of ganged up on him. I'm like, good grief. I would hate to be Harper in that scenario where everybody truly says how they feel. But I mean, that's friends. Friends will tell you about yourself.
Friends will tell you about you.
Like, okay, I love you. We're going to get drinks.
Right?
Exactly.
But yeah, they chose to be. Because he does offer something. I don't know what he offers. He's nice, I guess.
Oh, no. Come on. You got to dig deeper. He was a more complex person. He was a more complex character than just him being nice.
He's cool.
You're not going to sit up here and just make him just to be the whole ass.
I wouldn't personally be friends with him, but he shows up. You know what? He shows up when it's time for him to show up.
Yes, that is true.
He will show up for his friends because even at the end where everybody got upset and kind of stormed off before who got inducted? Give me his name again. Lance.
You talking about Lance? Yeah.
Yes, when Lance got inducted, and
he was the only one that showed up.
He was the only one that did show up when everything went haywire.
The only one that showed up.
But it's like one thing about Harper, he will set a fire and he'll stay there.
I was gonna say,
I'm gonna set this fire, but I'm here. I'm the
He's gonna
fire.
sit in the fire. Yeah,
That's some
I was
real
like,
shit.
And I'm gonna
That's
was
some
like,
real shit.
yeah. I was like,
shit.
wasn't he the reason everybody did not show up? Like, it is him.
Yes, because they were
Yeah.
angry. But he
Yeah.
knew. He was like, you know what? I made this mess. One thing about Harper, he will make a mess, but I
Wait,
love the fact he doesn't
whoa.
scream.
Let's back that up just a tad. That's because y'all you said something. At first, I was getting ready to agree with you, but then I had to think. I was like, yeah, no. You said that he was the reason why everybody was upset at him. That man did what any man was supposed to do: is to fight for custody of his children.
True.
That woman wanted to take their only child out of the country after they've already been parents, married together for how old was Mia? She was like what, 6, maybe 7? Bruh, if you saw how that girl reached for her daddy
I
when they
know.
pulled away, and she like, no,
She was like,
don't
"Don't
look at him. Don't look. No, it's okay. It's you and me. I would. Yo, that part right there set me on a whole path. I was like, Robin's an asshole.
Yeah, I'm
And
not saying he's not
and I
justified.
could not look back from that.
Yeah,
I could
he's
not
justified in doing that. No, for sure. But my point is, he is always at the center of some mess. But when you have people that are at the center of messes, what they'll do is they'll create the mess and they'll flee the scene and let everybody else deal with the chaos. He is someone, and I respect that. He may cause some chaos, but he stands in the midst of it. Like, so
Yeah,
how do we move forward from this?
It's weird how he's selfish and selfless at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
How is that?
It's weird, isn't it? Like, you know, the juxtaposition is out of control. Like, I'm like, how can a person be so selfish, but then turn around and be like, God damn, that's the best goddamn man. Like,
can we talk about Dee Dee's point? Because I was about to say that.
Okay, all right.
Can
Let's
we talk
put it up
about
on
Dee Dee's point real
screen.
quick?
She said, "No, if you know Mia stage, she would have been with a babysitter more than Harper."
Talk about that.
Oh, true.
I was about to go there because the majority.
No, let's go
of
there.
series-
Let's go there.
Let's look at the dynamic. Like, who did
Yes.
more of the child rearing?
Thank you. Thank you.
He was Brent. He was providing for the family, but what providing looked like was him having to be away sometimes, having to travel to work, having to do what he did what he had to do as the provider of the family.
Such is the duality of man.
Right. So, but here's the thing: for Robin,
Can't be my family forward if I'm sitting here looking at y'all in the face all damn
right.
day.
But her biggest concern was quality time and making sure that she's leaving an impression on Mia versus putting her in daycare or having somebody else.
But I would still say though, I still don't really give her a full pass.
No, I don't give her a full pass
because to me, I'm like, sis should have had a more concrete conversation before spring. Because to me, that was selfish.
No, that was real.
That was absolutely foul.
I agree with you and Charles on that. I'm not saying she's completely right. That scene, I was like, that's pure evil. Like for you to
I was like,
it was a pretty amicable divorce until it got to that point.
Until that.
And I'm like, okay, you really like pulled a fast one on not only Harper, but just the general audience, because I was rooting for both. Like, you can root for both sides, but when she pulled that, like, oh, by the way, I'm taking Mia.
Nah.
Taking her where? It's different.
Where?
Saying like, oh, we're going to Virginia and you guys are in New York. Okay, that's a drive. Sure.
Yeah.
But even for me, a different state is still a little icky because that's still distant. But that's a conversation I feel like if she would have had with him, he may have softened. He may not have said yes. But there could have been some kind of arrangement, like you do 3 months, I'll do 3 months. But the blind side is active father, not one where you have to twist his arm. Like I said, Harper's selfish, but he's a really good dad. So he didn't have to twist his arm to be involved or have consideration for his child. So for you to spring that, I was like, that's evil. Like in the beginning, and I they said, you know what, Robin, I'm not really marriage minded right now. I know that you're ready for marriage, but I'm not. I still want to play the field. I still have feelings for somebody in my friend circle that I need to sort out before I even commit to you, because I feel like even proposing at their wedding was very tacky.
Yes.
Not because he was proposing at the wedding, but it's just like, oh, so because you and Jordan didn't work out, now you're like, oh, Robin, there you are. You were there in my time of need.
Yo, I'm sorry. She was the consolation prize.
Yes.
She was the consolation prize.
But was she? But was she? Because if Jordan really didn't want him,
I think sexually she wanted him.
She wanted him sexually, yes, without question.
But they wouldn't work out. They would not work out. I think when you have two demanding careers,
they're too. It doesn't work.
Butting on the head. They operate better as friends, but even in their friendship, it's a very unhealthy one. When you have some kind of like sexual chemistry, sexual tension, like it's not purely platonic. And the series showed us that. I think by the second installment of the movie, we were under the impression that, oh, the Jordan and Harper ship has sailed. But they brought that ship right back into the port in the series when they were alone and kissing. And I mean, Robin caught wind of it, and she's like, well, who's all there?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Right? And note when she actually brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
She let that Jones slide for a minute.
You let it slide because... Boy, go ahead, Whitney, go ahead. Because you about to say something for real.
I was just like, I thought Robin was gonna let it slide and not bring it up, but I was like, oh, like when she brought it up, I was like, oh, she be like, because we be knowing, women, we be knowing. It's like you feel that cheating happening in your spirit. You just do. But and she was like, I'll save this. But go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
It was a little bit of deflection, though. Because Robin was not innocent either. Like,
no, she was not.
We can't sit here and be like, Robin was such a... I can't. I love Robin to pieces.
Yes.
But even her dynamic with what's his face was so
yes.
Like the flirting.
You want to go all in and touch that man mushrooms.
The flirting at the market. I mean, okay, we're flirting at the market
with your child,
right?
I know.
Y'all flirting with the eggplant. That's fine. Ooh. But what really crossed the line for me is you're speaking on your marriage, but you're also inviting him into your home, into your personal space without Harper dating. That's the part that got me. Like, that is one of the most disrespectful things that a partner can do to another spouse. Do not bring somebody of the opposite sex that you're physically, sexually, probably emotionally attracted to into a space that is sacred, that is, a marriage home.
Boundary.
When I saw that, I said, that's really ballsy of you to bring him into your house.
Let me tell you,
and for him to go,
a few more minutes, she'd have folded.
Yeah, she was playing with fire.
She'd have folded. It wouldn't have been cold in the house that night.
Yeah, and I think it's a part of resentment for sure. Resentment, like I've had to endure him having feelings for somebody else. That's one part, but another part is this is somebody that actually sees her and meets her where she is. Like they have so much in common, like spices and produce, and he's like, "Oh, I got this for you," and I got that, and she's like, "Wow." With Harper, she's like, "Oh, food." He's like, "Oh, yummy."
I know, right?
This whole 80-20 bullshit.
Right. But I'm very glad, though. I'm very glad because I thought she was gonna start some kind of relationship with him.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna fold,
but she didn't.
Me too. I was like, this.
I give her that. I give her that. She stayed 10 toes down. She was like, I ain't gonna. even though I'm hurt in this marriage, even though I'm not being seen, I'm not being heard, I'm not being respected, I don't feel like I'm getting the attention that I require. She stayed 10 toes down, man, and I respect. I will respect her for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Everybody has a different breaking point, and hers came, and she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm done." Like, and you know, it was so funny. Like when goodness, what was Lance's son name? Oh goodness, I can't remember his name.
EJ?
LJ. Yeah, when LJ went missing, and you know, and Harper and he wanted to kind of use that opportunity, use that space of, you know, a traumatic event to kind of like weave his way back in to kind of smooth things over. And she still held her own. She was just like, no, I'm here for Lance's other 2 kids. And
I love that.
You go fuck on. I was like, okay.
Right. But you know what?
Like, cause like Whitney said, like she waited for the right time to pull that card where he could not think of any smooth ass, writer ass, screenplay writing ass line to kind of get him out, you know, to get him out of it. Right. It was just like either it was the truth or nothing.
Right. And here's the thing.
The truth was loud.
She didn't fold.
That silence was loud.
The only reason why she did not fold, follow me, y'all. The only reason why she did not fold is because she did not get the funding for that place. That is the only reason why she did not fold. That place would have connected those two.
Yes!
They would have been making money together. They would have been in the same space.
Yes.
Folded. So whether or not Harper knew what he was doing when he didn't inquire about, you know, the money for the down payment, he saved himself from getting cheated on. Because had he had gotten that place, you know, he would have been stopping by. They would have gotten to know each other more. And
that counter would have been for more than cupcakes.
that place would have connected them on so many levels. So I think not getting the place, it didn't save their marriage, but it saved her from cheating.
I'm telling you, pounded yam would have been on the menu.
Saving grace.
Telling you.
That is the only. Because she had the eyes. It was in her eyes when he was in her house. Like,
it sure was. It sure was. And you know how we be when, like, you know, when men come to the rescue. I don't know what it is, but listen. Listen.
When a man comes to the rescue, knight in shining armor syndrome.
Yes. It's like, oh. You know, like I don't know what it is that, like, especially I think with a woman of a certain age, for me, like the things that become sexy, like for me, the sexiest thing about a man right now, like this honey-do list. What if it becomes a honey-done list, baby? I'm done.
No, he'll be done.
That part, you know, like shovel the driveway. If something is broken, fix it. You like, and he was showing up. He was like, "Oh, you got a need. Your man ain't doing it. I'm here."
And of course,
and that's always a hard thing, boy. That is a hard thing to have another man fix something in your house.
Yes. In your house.
Yes.
Fix something that your wife ate. Man, listen.
Yes.
And she had been asking him several times. Oh my God, hold on. It's a metaphor. If you think about it. She had been asking him several times, hey, is this thing broken? I think it's broken. It's broken. Fix it.
Wow.
It's getting colder and colder and colder and colder.
You know?
Wow.
And the one time it was warm, when he came home and she wasn't there. I got you.
You see?
I got you. I got you.
Well, like,
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
And he didn't even know it. He didn't even catch it. He's just there looking like a.
Oh, he low-key did. He low-key did start writing about Robin again.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah. Hold on. And do you think Robin?
She encouraged it. Oh,
She
you know
sure
why
did.
she encouraged it? She encouraged it
Initially.
because she thought it was her.
Yeah, the first one she thought it was about her. She's like, yeah, do it. And then I think by the second one she was like, oh no, this ain't me.
Yeah, the second one, no, like when she read the little excerpt, in the series part, yeah, she thought it was about her,
rough.
but then
That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough. To have someone physically cheat, and I mean, people ask this question all the time. Would you rather have someone physically cheat on you or emotionally? We're not going to answer, I don't want to have any. I'd rather have neither.
Yeah, right? Can we say neither?
Either or. Would you rather have someone physically cheat on you or emotionally? If I had to choose between the two, I'm taking physical.
I'm taking physical.
Day.
Me too.
I'm taking
Me too.
physical.
When you
Because you know what? That post-nut clarity. That post-nut clarity. Woo!
Yes.
Yeah, the post-nut clarity, because you get it immediately after.
Immediately.
It's like
expeditiously. It's like, oh, this was just I just needed a climax.
Yeah.
My bad.
That emotional.
when
that
you are
thing goes
emotionally invested, emotionally invested in somebody where you find yourself caring.
That part. It's that. Yeah.
Writing a story about her.
You know, like they are taking
that's romantic.
a place in your heart.
Right.
Yeah. They're taking a place in your heart that's supposed to be for the person who calls your heart home.
Exactly.
So it's because to me, I'm like, it's like as an African woman, right? Even this, because our uncles, whatever, and even now, like men can marry more than one person, but there's a clear understanding that two women cannot occupy the same home. Even if you have more than one wife, the land may be yours, but the home is what she builds. Anything on top of the land is hers. And you cannot bring another woman to share a physical space. You must create separation. There must be separation. So, because each woman has her own way and her own essence, the essence of the home will be representative of that woman. So you cannot have more than two masters. Two women cannot control the same space. So even in your heart, how you move in that space, or the woman, sooner or later, one will become the master, the master energy of that home. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Professor Winnie, I guess it's all yours. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, y'all legit left me. It just hit me. I was like, you're right. Yes. So for me, I'm like, yeah. How can you serve two masters? And let's be honest, like this. Men are not good cheaters. Women are far better cheaters than men. Men are not good cheaters. Y'all don't know how to multitask. And even your physiology, your brain is not designed for you to multitask well.
Wow.
You can do it, but you will not do it well.
Wow. Winnie, I am gonna go to bed because my heart.
I was really getting ready to just like go to the mat with that. But I'm gonna shut my dumb ass up. That's what I'm gonna do.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
And I know this from experience. Like, that's just the fact. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, it's true.
Winnie, come talk any. Take my side at this point.
You know, you know how it be every now and then. Whenever I see opportunity, or I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. By all means,
I love it.
And thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Oh, Winnie, absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you want to be a guest on Dating University, you have to inbox our page to be a part. Putting I want to be on.
I know.
During the show in the comments, we'll have your comment read so you can watch the show.
It's so
you have to inbox
easy.
the show.
It's simple.
We don't make you jump. Winnie, did I make you jump in the hoop?
No, I was like, hey, this is me in Boston. Yeah.
That's it. We welcome anybody that wants to come on our show because this is your show. We just drive the car.
Yeah.
Y'all tell us where to go.
Hey.
And this is how it's been. This is how it's going to stay.
Can I say something about Jordan?
Yes.
Oh, this is a preview. All right. So this is a preview for the next one, or which. Are
we talking about Harper and Jordan next week?
If you want to.
Yes. Let's talk about Harper and Jordan next week. Because I had something to say. But I'll save that for next week.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, you don't want to give a hint. You don't want to give us a reason to come back. Little.
People don't like the Jordan character. People don't like the Jordan character.
Yeah, because Jordan saving it.
Don't like the Jordan character.
Saving it.
I was like, see, I'm not tune in.
I felt like, don't get me wrong, she put herself in some really effed up situations. But at the end of it,
saving it.
She was single.
Out of all of the men in the sea,
she was single. Oh yeah, it was a lot of men in the sea. A lot of men. And she had a lot of men on. She had a whole dude on the island. Had a whole dude. It wasn't enough.
Kept going for the taken one. All right, next show. See you guys next week. Winnie, thank you. Winnie, do you want to shout out anything before we
get
on? Actually, sure.
Yeah, tell me what you got going on.
Absolutely. Obviously, for everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Please come back next week. Or if you would like to connect with me across the social media platforms, all things at Miss Winnie O, or my media company, Winnie O Media. You can find all my stuff on there. Or actually just, www.winnieomedia.com. All my stuff is on there. February is coming up, and I'll be doing some Valentine's Day relationship features. I'll connect on that, as well as Winnie O's Blackity Black History Month. So,
yes. Thanks, Winnie. It's always good to have you on the show. You always bring great content.
I appreciate
fellow Bugnellian. I love to see
Hey! Okay. Oh, and E-Week is in February. Come on through. And if for my Bucknell alums and students, join me on February 15th.
Okay.
For Moving Beyond Performative Diversity for our Bucknell Black Alumni portfolio.
Can't wait. Drop the link and we'll share it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, family.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing such beautiful gems of wisdom.
Yes.
Thank you for giving us the other side of the game. Thank you for being our international professor.
I'm getting married. I'm getting married. That's all I know.
Yo, we was talking about that. We was talking about that backstage before we went live, y'all. Like,
she's getting married, y'all.
She's getting married,
and I'm here for
the dating phase. Period.
I'm here for it.
Straight to getting married.
Come correctly.
I'm correct. If you like Miss Winnie, you see her, and you just, hey, shoot your shot. If you don't know how to get in touch with her, get in touch with us, and we'll get in touch with her.
Absolutely.
And
we need to do a little vetting in the process.
Please do. I am only accepting vetted persons.
Yeah.
Only vetted.
You're not just gonna come in our Winnie's space without getting past the guards. You're gonna get a pat down.
So much. I appreciate it.
Love you all.
Ciao, everybody.
Absolutely. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us, y'all. Remember to follow us, like anything that we're on. We're on all your social media platforms. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you feel so inclined to, please buy some merch. We love you. We love it. We do. So yes, the links to all of that are everywhere. And like, if you want to be a part of Dating University, there's never an enrollment period. You just hop on in, and we encourage you to bring all your other peoples in. We're not just talking about just dating. And no, it was so funny. Somebody had asked me a question because now that I'm engaged, it was like, oh, so does that mean Dating University is going to end because both of y'all are going to be, both of y'all are married? I looked at that person sideways like, you got to be kidding. Dating never stops. You never stop learning. Because if the moment you stop learning, that's when you sink.
While we're on that, quick plug also, if I may. The nonprofit that I'm in is called HARP, the Harassment and Assault Reporting Platform. One of the things that we're seeing a lot, especially in the dating world, is unintended incidents of non-consensual behavior. So we might need to have a session on that, like unpacking, like, hey, what does enthusiastic consent look like in relationshiping and dating and all that good stuff? Like, why it's important to actually have the sexual onboarding. If you meet somebody, whether it's a one-night stand, a twofer, or whatever, like the importance of having very intentional conversations on what does your, how do you have healthy boundaries, enthusiastic and continuous consent, and also being able to tell our own stories, share experiences. So go to HARP. Quick surveys for harassment and assault engagement out there. So share your stories, share your perspectives. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. That. I don't have anything else. Brittany? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Dating University. We'll see y'all next week, where we're going to be discussing Harper and Jordan's relationship. I feel like my co-host got a whole lot to say because look at her face, y'all. I mean, for my podcast listeners, y'all don't see her face. She's giving. Okay, I got to be real descriptive. Okay, so she's giving the lean in with the left shoulder, really squinty eyes. The lips are pursed in a very aggressive manner. So yeah,
why she gotta be aggressive?
Because it's aggressive.
Yeah, I was being aggressive.
Thank you. I know my best. Listen, that's one of my best friends. I know my best friend.
She's like, right. Okay. Yes. Pull up next week.
All right. We'll see y'all next Thursday. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.